The Xbox 360's dry spell of new games has finally ended with the release of Sega's highly anticipated Full Auto. A combination of racing and car combat, Full Auto delivers some great visuals but only average gameplay. There's no doubt that Full Auto is an Xbox 360 game. Colors are vibrant, cars reflect the environment, and impressive lighting and particle effects can be seen everywhere. The only problem is that those effects can get in the way of the gameplay, preventing you from seeing what's ahead. And while this helps add to the chaos, sometimes it just gets frustrating. From the game's inception, Sega has stressed that Full Auto's environments were going to be completely destructible, and clearly they weren't lying. Almost everything you see can be knocked over or blown apart, and while this is impressive, it ultimately doesn't matter. You're encouraged to destroy things to keep your Unwreck meter full, but that never seems to be a problem if you just drive normally. There are so many things to crash into that you'll do it regardless. You'll probably never find yourself needing or wanting to destroy the world around you, except as a novelty. And for as good as the explosions look, the sparks are a little goofy looking. Most of the particle effects in Full Auto can be outdone by Burnout Revenge on the PS2. The sparks are big and jagged, and almost always clutter up the screen. It's also worth noting that though there are several areas to play in, they all blend together. None of the environments really stand out other than rocky area or city area. However, there are quite a few gameplay options, and playing all of them will unlock new cars, modes, and maps. You can choose between arcade-style races, multiplayer split screen, or career mode. The arcade races offer a set of pick-up-and-play challenges, the most entertaining of which is Rampage, where you have to destroy a certain amount of civilians in a set amount of time. Split screen can also be fun, but doesn't allow you to reverse time, which can be jarring if you've gotten used to relying on it. Career mode is definitely the richest mode, with many different chapters including time trials and a very entertaining hunter mode, where the game becomes less about finishing a race and more about taking out your opponents. In a game about cars with guns on them, this mode makes the most amount of sense and ends up being the most fun. Something that you'll probably notice when you first start up the game is how many areas, weapons, and cars are locked. For an arcade-style racing game, it's a little frustrating that you can't open it with your friends and have a lot of options right off the bat. However, all of the cars and weapons are unlocked over Xbox Live, which kind of renders single-player useless. You may find yourself asking, why should I bother playing single-player to unlock cars when I can just jump online, have all the cars, and play against real people? Despite its flashy exterior, Full Auto's gameplay falls just a little bit short. For a racing game, it actually feels surprisingly slow. As you're driving, you can build up boost by either power sliding or performing stunts. The problem is that power sliding actually slows you down more than if you just let up on the gas. And as far as stunts are concerned, you'll find yourself doing most of them by accident. You also can't use your boost until the meter is full, and even if you don't want to use all of it, you still have to fill it before using it again. In single player, you're also outfitted with an Unwreck meter, which allows you to reverse time. This can be quite helpful, especially when the game's loose controls make you smash into a wall or get lodged in a random nook. You can also access a quick replay mode that lets you watch your most recent crash. A big part of Full Auto is obviously the weapons. You can choose between two of them at once, including rockets, machine guns, mines, front and rear grenades, and a smoke screen. Depending on the type of car you choose, you're given preset combinations of these weapons. Unfortunately, none of them seem that new or exciting and have a sort of been there, done that feel. Full Auto just feels too middle of the road. It takes elements from polished games, but never achieves what those games accomplished. If you're gonna buy a racing game, you're gonna want a racing game that competes with Burnout and Need for Speed. Something that gives you a great sense of control and nail-biting speed. If you're going to buy a car combat game, you're going to want to see it match the bar set years ago by Twisted Metal, with tons of outlandish and destructive weapons. But Full Auto never really fulfills either. Full Auto is the type of game that in an arcade would be a blast to play. It's slick looking, has a lot of visual punch, and is fun for a short amount of time. It's also pretty hard to not enjoy a game that involves cars with rocket launchers. However, Full Auto's shortcomings, which could easily be solved if there should ever be a sequel, keep it from being a high priority purchase for the 360. Since you're being asked to drop an average of about $60 to play it, Full Auto would definitely be better as a rental.